Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Review, of which we've done quite a few recently. And that's partly because I did something that I probably shouldn't have done, which was underestimate AFMAU's upload schedule. Because, to be honest, yeah, I was when I prepared when I just prepared, I wasn't expecting that to not be AFMAU's most recent video for very long. That being said, I did want to release it because, I have my song every single month. So, just kind of in the moments like, okay, I'm compelled to do this. Algorithmically, it makes the most sense. Let's go for it. It just came at the expense of starting the stream on time. So hopefully that wasn't too much of an issue for everyone else. Hello to Josh and to the other people as well, because I can see and you're all filtering in bit by bit. So yeah, it is that video that it's based on, Murdered Phoenix Drop High, is no longer the most recent video on the MyStreet One Last Time channel, despite the fact that it only came out 4 days ago. Now that can mean one of two things, actually. That can mean that they've actually worked on a whole bunch of filler content. I say filler content because, to pad the time before Season 7 starts, because as Aiden helped me theorize before, the presence of Murder Phoenix Drop High in the first place on that particular channel kind of implies they're trying to draw, traffic to that channel in question and work on some things to prepare for the release of Season 7. The fact that they've done 2 episodes so quickly with everything else going on means they're either trying to really make sure that the channel stays relevant and they have a lot of content lined up, or they don't need that much content lined up because Season 7 is just around the corner. I believe in VidCon they said mid-2025, and we are approaching mid-2025. So, well, I guess we kind of are in mid-2025 because we don't like May. Yeah, because like almost half the year. So, yeah, makes sense. So, to be honest, either way, cause for excitement. You either get more content before the big thing, or you get the big thing a lot sooner. So, yeah, happy days, to be honest. I'm sure the hype will become more apparent on my face as time goes by, rather than the rather underwhelming reaction that I'm admittedly giving right now. With that being said, it's partly because of the heat, to be honest. I've been sweating buckets in the last few videos, partly because of the ring lights that I've got now, but also because I have to have the blinds down so that flies don't all fly through the window and get here. But yeah, I've got my traditional AFMAU snack of cashews because I ran out of popcorn. I didn't know this was going to happen, so I don't get any more. And of course, the Levi drink of milk with ice this time, because that's where we're at. That's how desperate things have gotten. That being said, it's time to talk about my favorite season of MyStreet, which at one point was my least favorite. Because yeah, top 10 season 3 moments picked by you and me. I can't remember if I responded to this one or not, honestly. I know I responded to the second one, didn't know the first one was happening. This one, I forgot if I did or not, because I've been rewatching season 3, but also the short happened so long ago, I might have commented on it randomly at the time and then completely neglected to mention it. I actually have no idea. So some of this might have had a sway, a very fractional sway from yours truly, but most likely not, to be perfectly honest. So let's see what the people who responded think, and let's judge our own verdict as we did with the 2 videos before. And eventually, at some point, I promise I will do top 10 season whatever moments picked by me, because I kind of feel like that would be another fascinating video idea at some stage in the future. I'm surprised Raz hasn't done it already, to be honest. In any case, let's see what the people have spoken. So let's hear them out. Without further ado, or without further distraction, on with the reaction. Hello, Iona.
I got the book!
I got the soup!
Sylvana appearing right in the thumbnail and appearing immediately would be concerning to me under normal circumstances, but I remember the context for this scene. AFMAU was sick, so of course she was going to show up, as did everyone else. So, here we go.
I'm just here for moral support.
Yep, again, very helpful.
I'm a doctor!
I forgot that happened.
My poor baby!
Honestly, I'm not sure if this was a good idea or not to have Zane's mask. I guess it helps with like the guests and such, but it's just gonna the fact that she's like sniffling and sneezing everything back into herself might not be the best. But then again, this episode's all about what was best for Aphmau in this situation.
All right, that's it. I've had it up to here with everyone trying to take care of Aph. I'm sure you all mean well, but she needs her rest right now. She isn't gonna get any better if you all keep her up. I know you want to help, and I appreciate that, but...
Yeah, honestly, Aaron handled the situation extremely well. Actually, and it definitely was proof of like how well they merge as a couple, and just what kind of like stand-up guy he actually is. I know that, again, to mention Write It Out, I know that the whole character decline video, but to be honest, like this part of Aaron, I don't think ever really properly faded away, and I'm glad that it didn't.
Bless you. By the way, everyone, she could be contagious.
Ha! Impossible.
I mean, yeah.
My scarf
And that's probably why they had Zane, uncover. Yeah.
You were saying?
Ha! Serves
He was spraying.
you right too. All right, I forgot that can happen. Well, Aphmau, here is your storybook. Mommy's gonna get going.
Okay, you know what? To Sylvana's credit, at least she turned away. I know that limited movement meant they couldn't like cover their mouths or anything, even with their hand, which has obviously been like a denounced technique since other contagious diseases in the world's history after this episode came out. But even then, they still couldn't do that mechanically in Minecraft. So at least she decided, okay, I'm going to turn away to not sneeze on anyone else, even Aaron, to be honest.
Oh no.
Yeah, I forgot this too.
Don't worry, Garth. We're dressed as doctors. We can't get...
Doctors get sick all the time. They're around diseases constantly.
Oh, Joe.
Great.
You know what? Sebastian Todd's sneeze was probably the most convincing out of the lot. Huh? Oh, it says that somewhere. Well, yes, I was. That's why this episode, this reaction started late, because I wanted that video to come out, and I was busy doing the final touches on it, and then doing the uploads and checks and all of that, boring background YouTube stuff that they don't talk about, the less glamorous side of YouTubing. I was doing all of that, so that's out now. So I guess if you missed that, feel free to check it out after after this video. So yeah, so far, good pick. This one I thought would have been higher, actually. Not necessarily because it is a better scene, but just because I thought other people would think it was better. Just to remind everyone of the context of this scene, this is like right when Aphmau and Aaron at the end of the series are trying to patch up their relationship, and they recreated a scene that happened to them when they were in high school, and somehow they both managed to break into the closed high school and reenact this, and they had no consequences to it whatsoever. But there you go.
Why are you crying?
I just need someone to talk to right now. Can I trust you?
You can trust me.
Promise?
I promise.
Well, a lot has been going on. And
Yeah, so this was like them recreating like the lines as well.
basically,
Again, they need to do a Phoenix Drop High version of this. As far as like other filler content goes, I'm surprised that wasn't done like in chronological order. But there you go. They're working on other Phoenix Drop stuff, I suppose. Yeah.
this guy, Aaron, he's my boyfriend. And I really messed up. Really bad with him.
How bad?
Very bad. I ignored how he was feeling lately. And didn't realize how much of a jerk I was being towards him. When he asked me to...
You know something, actually? I don't know if I mentioned this when I did my original review of this episode, but this is how to do like the Travis and Caitlin plot in season 2 properly. Because what they're doing here is essentially the same thing. You know, someone didn't consider the other person's feelings. In this case, they were in an actual established relationship, unlike Travis and Caitlin, much to my eternal dismay at the time, and even now. But yeah, like obviously, Travis was trying to consider someone else's feelings first and foremost. He had no obligation to Caitlin at that point anyway. And Caitlin blew it out of proportion, and they ultimately didn't get to resolve it entirely because they didn't find out about the origins of why she was like that because Aaron came in and interrupted things. And that's one of the things that I always regret never getting resolved at all. So yeah. And as far as anything else goes, yeah, like this, like they took like multiple episodes. We saw how it got to this point, and we honestly understood both of their perspectives, regardless of that. Not that we didn't understand Travis's, but honestly, Caitlin's was kind of a mystery at that point because she clarified later on it was about her mum. It just kind of seemed like she was really taking things out way too far compared to Travis taking things too far in season 1. It really put Caitlin on the back foot. Season 2 was not kind to Caitlin. Now I think about it.
Be with him when he needed me the most. I wasn't there for him.
Are you saying I'll try to come back? Okay, I was gonna answer this question when you came back, but if you're saying you might have to go, I'll answer it now. I could react to Toka Actually, I have considered it in the past of doing Toka reviews. There's a particular, I think a particular like OK Street was the one that I was really looking into. I also did a couple of videos like playing Toka myself, or Toka Life World is the actual game. Toka is the company. So yeah, by all means, I can do that at some point.
I feel like there were things he wanted to talk about that I really just didn't understand.
It sounds like it was your boyfriend's fault too.
Does it? From that context, no, it doesn't. Obviously, Aaron is the one behind the door, so he knows what faults he had. But if I just heard that part of the conversation, I would not think it was the boyfriend's fault as well.
What do you mean? How?
He didn't tell you how he was feeling, the challenges he faced in life growing up, and how he saw them repeating all over again in front of his face. But instead,
that's what we need.
This time it was the person he loved the most.
Still, I should have been there for you, FC. I should have realized that you weren't acting like yourself. I'm supposed to catch these things and help you, but I didn't. And if you never want to see me again after...
Yeah, see, this is a thing, by the way, in relationships a lot that ends up coming up. And unfortunately, it's one of those like gender disparity things as well. Whereas, you know, like at some point, you know, your partner expects you to like read their mind to some degree and catch on to certain things, even if they don't pick up, if they don't directly state them themselves. And oftentimes it is unfortunately, you know, if it's in a straight relationship, it is often the female component of the relationship that ends up going down that path. That's why there's such a cliche of, you know, male character written by a female writer knowing thoughts internally and like being able to interpret that stuff. People aren't mind readers, and it's nice to see the reverse that's being represented here and showing that, yeah, like you can blame yourself if you think that people are to be predisposed to do that. And in fact, they're not. But ultimately, there are some things that you can't pick up on your own, and that's where that's where I would say that's where Aaron messed up as well. Again, if I'm judging by this scene alone, it would take until this point to know that. But obviously, the rest of the series we all knew anyway.
After this, I understand. I know you blocked my number, and I know I can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but
Af, I never want to leave you.
But you blocked my number, and
It's a long story to why the number was blocked. Turns out my parents haven't changed. Af, me leaving and not talking to you about the problems we had was stupid on my part. I should have never done that. I was feeling alone for the first time in a very long time. It was the same way I felt before I met you in high school.
Aaron.
We've both made...
You know something? It takes a lot to say that a guy who's like lived by himself for so long to say that he felt alone for the first time. Like, the difference between like being alone and feeling alone, I suppose.
some really silly choices recently. But I never want to make you feel the way your mother told me you did.
My mom?
Yeah, that's another long story.
Maybe that'll make it in. Maybe that's one of the Sylvana ones that will get there. Although, based on the thumbnail, I think people are focusing on the funny aspects of Sylvana more so. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
My point is, Af, I never want to let you go again. Please stay with me.
I will. I love you so much.
I love you too.
You know, another reason why this became my favorite season, you know, it was before things got super crazy and the whole like life and death stakes happened. Honestly, this felt much more real in terms of, you know, how the things would go down. Ultimately, like Aphmau herself, like creator Aphmau, described MyStreet at one point as an after forever after story beyond season 1, because normally, you know, you cut to credits when the characters get together. But no, what happens afterwards is actually kind of like a bit more interesting. That's honestly why, you know, like people like to clown on romance anime as a genre, and a lot of them have very good reason to do so. But ultimately, it is one of the biggest ways that you can actually see a relationship explored in media rather than just the build up to one. But if you don't see that a lot, you miss out on moments like this, to be honest. Again, another thing I have to do is do seasonal summaries and say why, you know, my thoughts have changed on different things or something.
Now it's time for judging. Present your dishes.
Here we go. Honestly, this entire episode could have filled up this list with several scenes. Because, I mean, there's the whole thing about this was, well, aside from Aphmau and Zane having their first fight, really, it was also just a medley of different like sketches and moments leading up to this presentation here. I'd argue more so that the actual competition scenes are probably better than the presentation scene. But I can also see if you want to like actually feature a scene in here, you need to pick something that's a bit more like, you know, choppy. Let's say you can't just have the bulk of the episode be the top 10 moments, you know? I mean, even moments is actually like in all caps in both this video and the original title. So, you know.
Interesting. Tell me, Melissa, what was the secret ingredient for this competition?
It was chocolate.
Chocolate? Did you
Oh,
say...
yeah. Oh, that's why. That's why this is the scene. Okay, this is where we hit the funny moments. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Chocolate?
I now know what one of the others is going to be, I think. I'm going to make a prediction right now. The I Need It moment is on this list.
Yes, sir. Without nuts.
Chocolate? Chocolate? Chocolate! Chocolate!
Ugh! Cameraman!
Yes?
Where did you find these judges?
Why do you have the cameraman as in charge of finding people? They have like other people in departments for this stuff. They have a whole like there's actually a department in movies and, you know, commercials and stuff called the AD department that's all about which is called assistant director, which actually is in charge of like managing this kind of thing, not the person filming it.
You said to find only the best, so I did. Unfortunately, judge number 2 just got done judging the whole chocolate competition in Argentina.
Chocolate!
This man is ruining our set! Someone stop him!
Did I catch dramatic rules with that?
How many?
Yeah, this one I wouldn't. This one's the first one I'm gonna say I probably would not have put on this list. Like, it's okay, to be honest. Oh, wait, no, I forgot. Never mind. Sylvana's in it. It makes it worse.
Candies did you get, Caitlin? I got lots and lots of candies.
Jean! There's a scary candy!
Oh,
That one has peanuts in it. You can't have.
Thank you, big bro. Here's Wayne.
I completely forgot about, the peanut allergy.
Let me open this candy for you.
Thank you.
You're the best big brother ever.
I'm going to cry. This is so beautiful.
Yeah, you know what? So far, again, very wholesome scene. How does Savannah ruin it?
I know. I miss this age so much.
Aww, I didn't get a Reese's. I like those.
Here, you can have mine.
Aw, thank you.
Mija, yes, cooties.
And that's how she ruins it. You can't let your daughter have like any one happy moment without, either teasing her or making sure that Aaron is not responsible for that happy moment. That's why I hate Sylvana.
Zane!
Oh, this scene. I mean, again, is this the moment in this episode that I would have picked? Probably not, but something in this episode. I said when I did my reviews, actually, that the first 5 episodes of season 3 were all incredibly solid. Physically enough, Savannah appears in episode 6, but that's a coincidence. But yeah, like it's like a running thing where, if you think about it, a lot of MyStreet seasons either have the best episodes at the beginning, at the end, or both. This season has both. And the middle tends to have random, very cool episodes in between, but most of the time ends up not being, the episodes don't end up being don't stand out as much. In the case of season 4 is an exception, because season 4 everything good was at the end, and then the build up was lackluster. But I talked about that already. In the terms of this season, yeah, we definitely were in like one of the peak moments. And this episode particularly was one that this moment here, actually this exact moment, I have a story about this. In my creative writing class, I actually chose to turn this premise of someone being turned into a baby into a full-on into a full-on pilot episode for an intended series, because that was the assignment that we had. But the teacher pushed back on me with this particular scene because he didn't realize that the actual auditory crash from backstage was more effective than was meant to build up the surprise reveal. Actually, I'll just show you. Hold on. Give me a moment. So they heard the crash, and then there we go. Yeah, so it was the reveal that he was the baby. The tutor in question wanted the scene, because I said it was intended as an animated script to actually show the transformation itself. Maybe describe a little bit of the emotions going through during the actual moment, to set that moment, and then build up in that aspect. I pushed back because I saw this particular version, and me pushing back was actually a little bit of a problem, because then it turns out I said, oh, I didn't know this was actually an already existing thing, even though it was adapted from it, and that's what happens anyway. But he said that I would get accused of plagiarism in the real world, so I then changed to something based on something that I had written, because I can't accuse myself. So eventually, because I felt so passionate about this scene, it tanked the assignment for some time. I had to go back to the drawing board. Not the finest moments of my university career, let's say, but there you go. In any case, that's that. Interesting, but I still wouldn't have picked this scene as the most effective in the episode, but it was the moment that inspired me the most. I probably would have picked something in the actual house. The interaction between Aphmau and Zane specifically. Maybe even the moment where it's everything is terrible. That part. That's probably what I would have chosen to focus on. But anyway, here we go. I'm a baby, says Zane.
Yeah, I'm fine. I just failed getting one of these dumb boxes down.
Zane?
What?
That's another thing. If he had done if he'd seen it visually, he probably would have noticed he was transforming. So
you think... Wait. Why are you all the way up there and...
A better question is, how come your clothes changed?
Oh, no. I'm a baby!
There it is.
Oh, man. I didn't have any baby potions in any of these boxes. Zane, which potion was the one that fell on you?
Oh, I don't know. All of them?
Okay, that hasn't happened before.
Excuse me?
Well, I mean, it's not often people mix potions that are like made for other intended things and just randomly, but randomly just like drop them on themselves. So this would have to happen in an accident situation. So of course it happened before.
I mean, this should have been impossible. It must have happened as a bizarre reaction when all the potions collided.
But you've got a potion to fix all this, don't you?
Well, no. Potions that deal with aging are incredibly difficult to make and are very rare.
What?
I guess because witches are somewhat immortal, so they don't really need them for a long time, to be honest.
But, my mother knows. I'll just go and see if she knows anything about how we can reverse this. Mal, can you take care of Zane while I'm gone?
This is everything I've ever wanted in our friendship, Zane! Baby Zane!
Oh, Irene, why?
It's just your mom.
You don't understand.
There's okay. We'll get to this point. There's one thing that I honestly regret that we won't see in MyStreet is because I know we've seen like episodes where Aphmau takes care of a baby. Either it was Lilith in Figure Shop High or obviously Zane in that episode. But yeah, this I honestly wish we could see like a bit more of like them potentially like maybe Afro and Aaron raising like their first child potentially, because that's actually something that they that the actors in question have done before in real life. 4 separate times, or is it 5 now? I forget. So that would have been a nice arc, to be honest. Oh well. Jurassic Sylvana from episode 6, the one where I said the series started getting worse for a bit.
Dan, she's like a T-Rex when she's mad. Follow me!
Af, I don't think this is necessary.
Yeah, Aaron can take Sylvana. That's fine. Yeah, this is the moment that was recreated in the thumbnail to some degree, and that's why I knew it was in the video. So I'm not surprised this made it in. I am concerned though, because again, the fan base don't seem to really grasp the fact that Sylvana is just a terrible human being at this stage of her, and needs to go through a serious character arc before like getting any sort of sympathy from me.
I think she's gone.
I mean, she only left for like a couple of seconds, so whatever. And there she is.
I knew it!
Mother of Irene.
I knew it was you,
I like the irony of like Mother of Irene being said to Sylvana, but I don't know.
Mija! I knew it! What are you doing here with the devil?
Oh, well, I don't know. You came into her house. That's why she's with the devil. Hey-o!
Gah!
Oh, there you are!
Okay. And when I said that she had to do a lot of like introspection, like evolution, this is what I was referring to. Let's see a good Sylvana scene to prove they are indeed possible.
Don't have time.
Sylvana, what are you doing here?
Yes, I crossed 2 cities to reach you here, but you know what? That's how much I care.
Huh?
Aaron, you have to give Aphmau another chance.
What?
Look, Aaron, I'm going to be honest with you. Ever since Aphmau's father left, I've been afraid to lose anyone else in my life. My biggest fear was losing my Mija.
this is an explanation, not an excuse. I stand by what I said earlier, but I'm glad that she's coming to this conclusion at this stage.
Even when she was little, I vowed that I was going to protect her forever and ever. But then she met you and a ton of other people, and, well, I got scared. I got scared someone was going to take her away from me. And I was really scared of you, because for the first time in her life, she found someone who made her happier than I could.
Actually, well, I mean, this shows again how much Sylvana was not paying attention. There's a lot of people that made her happier than she did.
And I was jealous. Jealous and scared I was going.
Which, by the way, is a contradiction because in season 2, she's like, "I want grandbabies. You know, find yourself a boyfriend," and just like and decide to go, here's a person that seems relatively okay compared to Aaron, who you actually like have chosen for yourself and really appreciate it, So I'm gonna push that on you, and make sure you give me a bunch of grandbabies, even though I know the struggles of raising one child. I'm gonna ask you to raise several for my personal benefit. So, if we hadn't had that particular point, there's probably a bit more weight to it, but, again.
To lose my baby to you.
Sylvana.
But after seeing her the way she is right now, the way she misses you, I realized that those actions of mine were very selfish, and I'm not losing a daughter. I'm gaining more family. You.
I am very glad, by the way, that this got voted over the other Sylvana scene. It does show at least that, especially, I guess, the people voting now have also grown up a bit since then and have probably been able to recognize this kind of thing. One reason that Sylvana irked me a lot towards the beginning, even outside of the objective stuff that, she does wrong, subjectively, she also irked me because she reminded me of the mother of the girl that I was dating around this time. And yeah, that's whole roster of things to do with that. Obviously, I'm not going to get into because that's obviously someone's personal life. But yeah, I will say that particular mother turned out to be far worse than even those minor things in comparison. And yeah, I'm very glad that direction was not delved into here because it could have been so much worse.
I'm not saying I know the whole story between what happened with you and Afmao. I just know her side. But Aaron, I'm asking you, please, go back to her and at least talk with her. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But it's better closure than just blocking her number. Please.
Blocking her number? Oh, I never blocked her number. Why would I do something like that?
Because you're a coward who can't face his feelings? Look, I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Again, that's what she thought beforehand. Sure, okay. That scene obviously goes on for a bit longer, and then Sylvana takes out retaliation against Rachel, also in a very cathartic moment. Yeah. Anyway. Another reason why season 3 is my favorite, it manages to fix my least favorite character, at least to some degree. And she takes a step back. She's like, I would love if things were pursued further. She actually does encourage Aaron to propose. Aaron's already kind of working on it, and yeah, but she lets him do it his way. She learnt.
Let's see, what do I want for breakfast?
Okay, yeah. This is another one that I get why people voted it. I would not put it on personally. It's funny, but yeah, people found it a lot funnier. You'll see what I mean. Okay.
Oh, cereal sounds great. Oh, but I'm out of milk.
Actually, no. Before we continue, leave I drink to the fans for again voting that Sylvana scene over the other one. I should do that before I run out. There you go. You can still taste the ice.
Oh, right. I have magics. Duh.
Caitlin,
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So
Okay.
that you're...
Okay. Context for that. There's a storm outside, so no one can go out properly. They didn't show that in the scene, but that's what's going on in the episode. That's why she has to teleport around. And here we go, I suppose. By the way, this was actually a part of the episode that was kind of tacked on towards the end. because everyone else was like dealing with their stuff in the storms, and Lucinda just like shows up in that scene and kind of like steals the show for the last like fifth of the episode. I mean, clearly people seem to appreciate her doing that, and I get why. It's also the scene that I got wrong in the Caitlyn song about her working in the cafe. I forgot the context of that because I looked up a best of Caitlyn compilation rather than using my own memories. Ah, well.
Doing this? Thank you so much.
No problem.
I would have definitely thought these two would be different sizes. Just if for no other reason than Caitlyn, works out a lot. She has probably a bit more like bulk to her than Kawaii-chan would. But anyway.
Kawaii-chan, I don't mind when you ask politely. But remember, don't tell anyone or I will never forgive you.
Okay. After this we can fix up some of the suits too.
Awesome. I'm down to wear those over this... Huh?
I actually noticed that was happening. I guess the smoke. Yeah.
You can't be serious!
I reckon Lucinda's teleportation works on like an instant transmission basis, because she could have, because I imagine she would have like gone to she'd have to lock onto like a human signature rather than like those laid out of someone's house, so she doesn't teleport inside of like a wall or something. Even in season 6, she does mention that teleporting to like unknown locations, you can tell the sky, the ocean, just in random places. And trust me, as somebody who has done their fair share of teleporting in Minecraft, if you put in random coordinates or something, you could end up inside a mountain and suffocating before you can get out because you don't have a pickaxe. Happened to me before.
Lucinda?
Hi, Lucinda-chan!
Hey, Kawaii-chan. You guys got any milk that I can borrow?
No! And you can't just poof into
I've got
anyone's
milk.
house either!
You guys said I could.
You better not
Did
tell anyone about this or...
When?
Whoops, look at the time. Time to go.
I swear I'm going to...
This time, I got him for sure.
Oh, yeah. This happened too. After I was trying to like get Aaron to swoon over her. Every time she does this, either with prosthetics or with otherwise, she doesn't think about the implications.
Can't resist this potion.
Elfmo? Is that a werewolf potion?
Not before you poop in! Jace!
Do you have any milk?
I do like how that just does not work as a sentence because she's too flustered to think of something properly.
That was so embarrassing.
That was close.
And this is the moment where I think everyone kind of really wanted to see for some reason, but we'll talk about this in a moment.
I should.
Speaking of anime cliches.
Get out of here! Now, listen to...
Okay, no, but whoa. Before we get this one we gotta talk about. This one I knew was gonna be on here. Okay. Sure. Right. That other one, by the way, there is a reverse of that scene at one point where Aphmau ends up walking in on Lucinda. So I guess there was some sort of karma involved in that. I think that scene happened after this one. So, there was a little bit of a Lawrence and Lucinda shipping thing that was going on at the time, especially after one particular fan fiction reading that really kind of like amped that stuff up. But yeah, as far as that scene goes, that one's definitely iffy. I guess it depends on like what you think in terms of like the humor behind that, because I mean obviously that cliche is done a lot in anime. Usually it's the girl who's in the shower because that's kind of happens all the time as part of the fan service. But yeah, I guess then again shirtless Lawrence was indeed fan service for most people. So I suppose it is ultimately the same. Not for me, but again, about to be on the list somewhere. Should it have been that high up? Probably not. I never thought I would say this, but I probably put the last Sylvana scene above that one too. Yeah, what's the world coming to? Anyway, this one, I completely understand where this one is. This one, I have no questions about.
2.
Ooh, kitty!
Oh, they timed the 2 to appear when you said 2. Oh, that's nice.
No! Control yourself, woman! I mean, dignified people look at a cat and can control themselves. You can't just leave your job to go pet a kitty. You need to learn self-restraint.
But it's so cute! Just one pet!
Okay, go on.
Huh?
This kitty here, Mr. Eli the Third, is Aphmau and Aaron's child.
Cat child!
He says child. They've said fur baby up until this point. There's really says child.
Child!
Same thing. In any case, go on and touch the kitty. See what happens.
Here we go. Well, she's not even like too close by, but anyway.
Ow!
You're touching the child? Not touching the child!
Different sound effect. Yep. So, I said this before, but I didn't know about this meme when I saw this episode. I knew it was a meme instantly because of the difference in Zane's delivery. Like, it was very obviously referencing something. I then looked it up later on and I found Senor Billo for the first time. But oh my! And also, episode 5. So, another early episode during that first peak.
Who's touching the child?
And there's the person behind putting this meme in here.
Don't touch my child!
Mm-hmm. And the number one favorite moment is...
You're such a good boy.
Oh! Okay. Again, I get why people find this one funny. Number one funny, though? Alright. Okay, let's watch it.
Boyfriend Aaron.
Yeah, Josh, you remember this one.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a great boyfriend like you.
He is 2 years younger than him.
Are you being serious right now?
I'll be the handsomest boyfriend.
I believe in you, Gareth.
I have quoted that so many times on camera before. So yeah. Oh, hi, Emily. Well, indeed. This is the number one moment, apparently. The fans have spoken. Handsomest
What
boyfriend.
are they doing?
They're
No one
having
knows.
a moment. Like, they understand what each other means and express that using the look.
The look?
The look. The look? The look. The look.
The look. What?
You need to hang around us more, Jean, before you get the look.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that was kind of fitting because actually that scene was done right before the intro started. So they were able to time it with the end point. Was that why it was put at the end? Or was that a coincidence? I don't know. Yeah. The look. And then, and then across the world, a bunch of future e-boys saw that and thought, in 3 years when TikTok takes off, my moment will come. Anyway, so yeah, stay tuned to vote for season 4, and I'm going to have to guess that they were all going to be in the last 5 episodes. If there are some that are not, I will be impressed. Oh, wait. One that won't be What You Do in the Forest, Aaron. That one is probably going to make the list. But the rest of them, most likely the last few scenes. But there you go. Future E-Boys has to be crying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of a thing that was on Musically, so I can't really verify. probably a fair amount. I don't know. Anyways, that aside, yeah, this one actually, I agree with most of the picks. There are some in here that obviously I personally, take more of an issue with. Obviously, certain characters that feature in this one, but even then, I was pleasantly relieved by this. This one was tough because, again, season 3 when it came out, it was my least favorite season for reasons that I don't remember, and then it became my favorite season because I looked at it through a different lens. I was like, wow, okay, I was just dumb, I guess. So maybe there's a case of this happening as well. The most fascinating thing for me, in terms of this voting process is that you have to obviously like remember that a lot of these people have grown up since they watched MyStreet, so the stuff they would have found funny, like the humor that was for them specifically at the time, might not end up appealing to them so much, or from a nostalgia point of view, maybe some of it still does. So the fact that we didn't just get like a cacophony of like the biggest jokes in this series is a testament to the fan base thinking things through a lot more this time compared to the other seasons, which I think people go back and revisit a lot less. Because you have to remember like what Aiden's perspective is on season 1 of MyStreet, and even season 2. Like I know that it's Miley's favorite season now, but it was even then, you know, just like how it was produced, how it came together, the stuff they did during that. You know, there aren't as many super memorable moments in comparison. And I feel like with My Season 3, people are like, oh, I remember this scene a lot. Then it's like, oh yeah, I blocked this memory out for whatever reason. You know, that's coming back to me more so than season 2, where it's a little bit more selection, and season 1, where they just haven't gone back. Which makes me very intrigued for what season 4 has to offer, because I remember when season 4 came out, like after it came out, even people like Maya, for example, said there was no point going back to the previous seasons because this is where, like, you know, the drama that they cared about started, basically, and there's no point like building up to it. I argued, of course, that, you know, caring about the characters a lot more would be, you know, a bit of a concern at that particular stage. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, like this is the part basically where I'm imagining a lot more people will have gone back and rewatched certain moments in comparison to the others. Then again, the build-up of season 4 probably would not have appealed to people because it did somewhat like regress the production, the production like to first-person perspective for a lot of the series that people aren't as into that. Maybe the mystery will like hold them through, or they'll have a promise of it getting better much sooner. I don't know. But that's what I'm really curious about when it comes to this next installment. That being said, I do need to remember to either do a poll myself or to just, you know, or to just pick some of my top 10 moments myself. A lot of them are probably going to be the same as this video for this season. But that's just the way it goes, I suppose. Yeah. Back then, I was impressed with how she used MC storytelling. Is far more common now. Not directly in the Western way, but because it's one like other stories. This season 1 is somewhat unjust to what was cool back then. Yeah, but I'm thinking of it in terms of like what the fan base are rewatching now to pick their moments. The psychology of that is what is intriguing me, to be honest. From what Aiden says in terms of like that stuff, yeah, like he can obviously like see objectively that the evolution needed to start from a place, but that doesn't mean he necessarily likes to go back to revisit that place just for the sake of, you know, the history behind it. And the same can be probably said for a lot of the other people in the fan base if that's what they're concerned about. But yeah, I mean, MyStreet became my favorite show partly because of how it was made, but mostly also because of like who made it. You know, it was an independent production that was like, you know, funded and coordinated by at first 2 people. Eventually, it grew further, and it created like, you know, such memorable characters, or I guess it reused them, but then evolved them differently from other shows. But that's, you know, a whole other matter. It cultivated its fan base. It, you know, somewhat toyed with them to some degree, but also like really properly indulged them. It was a case of like this thing was like being made like in the moment, updated based on like how it was going on. It didn't have like the same like studio interferences. It didn't have so many like bells and whistles behind it, which is honestly why I have a lot of respect in terms of like the early stuff, like in general, like aside from what I just said. And why I don't think AFMAO should be as concerned about, you know, amping up the production value of the seasons. Because I remember the VidCon before the announcement of season 7, the one where someone asked about, like, will there be a conclusion to MyStreet? She did say, how is she going to top season 6, referring to the visuals of it. I get like from a YouTube perspective, like tunnel visioning to that degree when it comes to this stuff, especially given that, you know, for somebody who, you know, like you said here, Emily, you know, spearheaded and sometimes pioneered a lot of the techniques and story moments that have become commonplace since then, because it inspired so many people. Having now obviously seen what Ovek's able to do, like 5 years into the future from there, or even other people. Just the first example that came to my mind from Minecraft Review. I could say Lady Mania, Mystic Hills. There's a lot of like other techniques that have been applied since then. But to be honest, like the thing that really stands out is just the writing aspect, like how much dedication there was to the characters, to the story, to sometimes in the case of like, though it was rushed in places, so you can tell that, but you can tell the moments where there was like a generally good idea that that Afnab wanted to bring to the screen and did so. Those are the moments that I think where the seasons truly shone. Like the first like five, the reason why I think the first like few episodes and then the last few of like most given seasons of MyStreet are the most powerful, except for a few ones in between, are because they're the ones that like or where the idea was born and then they're like somewhat extended past that point, in real time to try and like keep the series relevant and running for longer before the conclusion, or other episodes in between where a lightning bolt moment happens. And that's I like that aspect. It was the first time that I actually properly, psychoanalyzed the creator specifically of a video, because obviously Aphmau showed too much of herself on camera anyway, in terms that you could actually get a sense of her personality, which was not a case with a lot of other authors and of different other different types of other stuff that you've grown up to know before or after. So yeah. That's partly why it became my favorite. It was obviously the other aspect is just it's a great show with a lot of fantastic moments as showcased here. Everyone's going to have their own picks, which is another reason why I want to do the other thing. But I guess overall, this is what the public voted for, and for once, I can actually kind of side with them. So there's that. Pretty nice conclusion, I think. So yeah. But what do you think? Leave some comments on if you think there's other moments that should have been considered for this, and possibly why. And I might debate you in the comment section if you feel so inclined. Otherwise, please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. And subscribe if you've done so already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.